We are all experiencing an unprecedented time in our lives right now. The level of uncertainty, anxiety, and fear can be overpowering as we learn to navigate in our new world, all doing our part, whether it be social distancing, staying home, and abiding by federal guidelines. There are so many on the front lines who are battling a war against an invisible enemy. Being on the front lines can place a person's physical and mental health in jeopardy. A team of professionals has come together and created a program called Resilient Minds on the Front Lines to bring tools, knowledge, skills, and instruction to assist in a time of need. This team is dedicated to helping those who help others. On today's webcast, our guest speaker is Randy Richert, retired Air Force colonel and FBI National Academy Master Resiliency Instructor. Randy talks about how to broaden and build your mindset using resiliency tools to achieve growth instead of stress.
Resilient Minds on the Front Lines was created to bring you 15 minutes of hope in a world turned upside down. The topics in our webcast are all meant to help those on the front lines help themselves and others. Today, Randy Richert talks about how to broaden and build our resiliency. Randy teaches us to use our resiliency skills after an activating event and before the stress sets in, and how to switch that stress to post-adversity growth. Be safe, be healthy, be resilient.
Hi, I'm Randy Richert again. Talked to you about ABCs last time. You can go look that up on our website, Resilient Minds on the Front Lines. I'm retired United States Air Force, did 28 years, a former firefighter, was a deputy sheriff, was a city marshal. Now I work with at-risk youth. I coach high school and college football. More importantly for this video, I'm an FBI National Academy lead resiliency instructor. I'm a resiliency instructor. Today I want to talk to you about a couple of concepts in resiliency, leave you with a tool at the end as part of one of those concepts. First, we're going to start out, we're going to talk about post-traumatic growth. Got my daughter Shelby filming, got my wife working on the lights, love it. Post-traumatic growth. A lot of times, if you look at this bottom line down here, we call this resiliency training left of boom. Doesn't have to be a single event, can be an accumulation of events. Think of a person that works in a constant state of stress, maybe an emergency room worker. Every time they bring somebody in, the stress level goes up, stays up for long periods of time, so it can be accumulated over a long period of time. Another situation is, it's a singular event. Maybe somebody sees a car accident. Doesn't have to be a traditional first responder like a firefighter or a police officer, although they're perfect for this model, or the military. Can be anybody out there. Can be anybody during COVID-19 right now. Increased stressors, singular event, multiple events. What we think is that if we have no resiliency training, we're going along on this line, this lower line down here. And what can happen to us is after the event, we have post-traumatic stress. That's natural. You're supposed to have post-traumatic stress, okay? The problem is when it gets down into disorder. A lot of people just put those two terms together. They're actually quite separate. What we're trying to do with resiliency training, left of boom, before the stress, or if you're in stress now, start doing this now, so that we can avoid this red line over here and going down and down and down until we need treatment, until we need outside forces to help us do something, okay? What we're looking to try to get is post-adversity growth. Now think to a time when you faced a challenge and you came out of that challenge better. That's what we're talking about in post-adversity growth. Now, if we do resilience training, we call it in the business, it's like giving somebody an inoculation, giving them a shot. Put a rain jacket on, okay? And now that stress is just going to roll off you. So we hand you a rain jacket. We give you an inoculation. If you see me before, I love the Batman analogy. We're going to give you a tool kit, Batman tool belt, so you can whip those tools out and use them when you need them. So if you have resilience training, you start up here a little higher, you can take care of yourself better, you can take care of other people better. Now that event happens, and it's not a knockout event. It doesn't shoot you down this way. You expect to have post-traumatic stress. You know what to do about it, and you can use your tools, and you can use your skill set, your tool belt, and you can get post-traumatic growth. This is what we're trying to shoot for every time. Also, you can recognize in other people if they're doing this on the red line, and you can apply tools to them, okay? Speaking of tools, I'm going to move over here to broaden and build, okay? Now, what do we mean by broaden and build? Well, first off, Fredrickson and Joyner in 2002, yeah, we didn't make this stuff up. It's actually based on science. They talk about this, and what they discovered is that people with positive emotions are jolted into doing a different way of thinking. So as you have positive emotions, and you have a different way of thinking when you have negative emotions. The positive, though, actually is like getting a jolt. And the more you do it, the more it happens. You become more creative and open-minded, and actions become more adventurous and exploratory. Okay, I know you guys can read that, but I'm going to read it to you for emphasis, okay? So you get to be a more open-minded person, more creative, and the more you do it, the better you get at. You become more open to new information, and you recover more quickly from stressors. So if you think about what we're going through right now with COVID-19, these would be all positive things. So again, broaden and build. What does that mean? Well, we want to broaden our knowledge of something. It's just what we did today. We broaden our knowledge of post-traumatic growth versus post-traumatic stress. We broaden our knowledge of understanding about what goes on when we get positive emotions. And if we foster those positive emotions and we develop those new neural pathways and we keep doing it over and over, it's an exponential increase on the positive side. So we broaden our knowledge and then we build, okay? And we just keep doing those things and we get better and better at it. So there's multiple tools out there. Some of our other videos talk about those tools. So if you use those tools on a regular basis, you've broadened your understanding and you're building those new neural pathways in your mind. In addition to that, I like to say that when you broaden and you understand something, you take the fear away from it. I always like to say it this way. You get rid of the boogeyman. When you fear something or you don't know what's happening to your body, you have a tendency to respond negatively to that. Remember, most human beings respond negatively to things. We've talked about before. Hey, call me. It's your boss or a teacher. And all they say to you is, call me. Typically, we're going to respond negatively to that. So humans have almost this ingrained way of responding negatively to things. So if we don't know what we're doing and we don't know what we're seeing, we respond negatively to that. So if we take the fear away, we get the boogeyman out of the room, and we talk about these things and we increase our knowledge of it, we broaden it, and now we can build on it. So that's what we talked about today. Post-traumatic growth, broaden and build. Go to the website, Resilient Minds on the Front Lines. Lots of topics there. You can look up a bunch of different tools. Today was mostly about concepts. Also gave you a little tool, though, in the sense of saying, hey, I can broaden and build here. I can learn about something, and then I can use that thing over and over. And what we see from these is that we can get better and better at it. And that becomes the new way we see things. Instead of the negative and go for a lose, we can go for the positive and go for a win. All right, stay strong, stay safe, stay resilient. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Mike Wiltsey. I'm part of the team here at Resilient Minds on the Front Lines. In today's video, we heard retired U.S. Air Force Colonel and FBI Academy lead resiliency instructor Randy Richert discuss two related and important concepts in resilience: post-traumatic growth and broaden and build theory. In his explanation of post-traumatic growth and the model and diagram that he showed us, Randy introduced us to a really important phrase in resilience, left of boom. And it refers to the time period before the explosion, before the crisis or the adversity. And that is exactly what Colonel Randy Richert is teaching us today in this video. Through developing your resiliency skills, you can get left of boom. You can get yourself that tool in the Batman tool belt that he speaks of. He explained that stressors of any kind, meaning both singular or multiple and cumulative events, represent that boom, the adversity, the crisis that we must face. Colonel Richert also importantly told us that the naturally occurring response from these events is to experience stress that we call post-traumatic stress. This is a natural human expected experience. However, what it is important for us to realize is that post-traumatic stress does not equal post-traumatic stress disorder. Instead, if we can learn resilience tools and concepts and continuously apply them to our lives on a daily basis, we can potentially bounce back from those adversities quicker and experience that post-traumatic growth that we're looking for. One such tool discussed by Colonel Richert was the Broaden and Build theory. This theory tells us the importance of focusing on the positive emotions. One of the researchers who developed this model, Barbara Fredrickson, talks about it like this. Positive experiences and emotions are all around us, and they outnumber our negative experiences. The issue is they're often fleeting, we treat them as if they're insignificant, trivial, or small, and we don't pay attention to them. Instead, as Randy pointed out, our minds tend to focus on the negative. But what we have learned in psychology is that when we purposely focus and are mindful of our positive experiences and emotions that we are having on a moment-to-moment basis, when we allow ourselves to focus on those experiences and emotions, it has amazing effects on the way that we experience the world. Now, Colonel Richert told us how. He told us that positive emotions jolt you into a different way of thinking because you become more open-minded and you also recover more quickly from stressors. Try this skill. Start today. Focus on what goes well today. Focus on what feels good today. Focus on the positive experiences and emotions that you are having on a moment-to-moment basis today. Don't dismiss them. As you learn today, they are too important to your resilience. Thank you to FBI National Academy Master Resiliency Instructor and U.S. Air Force retired Colonel Randy Richert for your excellent video today. In the meantime, be safe, be healthy, and be resilient.
During the COVID-19 pandemic crisis, your mental health is vital. Please see the resources listed here as well as on our website at onthefrontlines.us. You are not alone.